This video is brought to you by Blackwood. Stick around to the end of the video for a preview. What's up guys, Jared here. As I briefly alluded to in our last South Park video, I've been playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2 lately, and at the risk of sounding hyperbolic, it's nothing less than a milestone in the art of gaming. Now, I could spend the entirety of this video geeking out about the detail, the story, and the performances, but that's not what I want to talk about today, because, surprise, I want to talk about philosophy. In fact, there's one mission in the game that builds its entire trajectory around two philosophical ideas. And not only is it quite clever, but it builds off the critique of early American values that the franchise is so famous for.
This is America! You can always cut a deal!
So welcome to this test vlog format on Red Dead Redemption 2. We might do a bigger Wisecrack edition that focuses on the entirety of the game, but I haven't even finished it yet. In the meantime, I know you guys like hearing about our process, so consider this a little window into how we think about things. Let us know what you think about this new format in the comments, and very insignificant spoilers ahead, seriously, it just doesn't matter. Starting early in Chapter 4, you can go on a 3-part stranger mission called Idealism and Pragmatism for Beginners. So yeah, you can probably see why we're breaking down this mission. It comically explores the basic tenets of idealism and pragmatism, but it's in its exploration of pragmatism, a uniquely American philosophy, that we get to see that classic Rockstar sarcasm as they take American values down a peg. In the first part of the mission, we're introduced to Mayor Lemieux, the pragmatist, and his assistant Jean-Marc, the idealist. The mayor informs Arthur that he recently bought a collection of classic paintings to hang in a new museum he plans to open. But turns out, he's been conned. The sleazy art dealer painted them himself. But that's no biggie for Lemieux the problem solver, who will display them anyway.
These are good paintings. I can't make the difference, and I'm French.
But an expert by the name of Professor Shiftaker is on his way to evaluate the paintings and make public their fraudulence. So Mayor Lemieux hires Arthur to intimidate Professor Shiftaker so that he changes his professional opinion and deems the paintings real. Shiftaker initially resists, but Arthur's fists are quite convincing.
I relent!
Okay, so what does this have to do with either philosophy? Well, in this part of the mission, we most clearly see an interesting exploration of pragmatism. Originating in the 1870s, pragmatism is an American philosophy primarily developed by Charles Peirce, William James, and John Dewey. Pragmatists vary in their specific philosophies, but one tendency among them all is their willingness to settle metaphysical and scientific debates according to the practical consequences of ideas. So basically, they emphasize that which is useful to advance human understanding of the world. More importantly, this stands in contrast with those who sought out universal truths with reason, a la German idealists like Immanuel Kant. So on the one level, we see the mayor, ever the pragmatist, deciding to beat the shit out of a man so long as it's useful, and Jean-Marc, the idealist, holding moral principles as universal truths, not unlike our boy Kant.
Violence is never right.
But there's another reading of this scenario that, perhaps incidentally, comments on how pragmatism deals with our understanding of reality. Pragmatists don't look towards universal truths and stress that human ideas about reality are likely wrong. So because humans are fallible, some pragmatic thinkers favor ideas that are the most useful. For a pragmatist like John Dewey, scientific hypotheses are great because they're useful. And even if they're not 100% right, we can fumble around with them to acquire more scientific knowledge, which allows us to concoct better theories. The same for Dewey should be true of philosophical ideas. Rather than search for some capital T truth, one should instead search for an idea that may be useful to humanity and its advancement of knowledge. So here we see another layer to the joke. The mayor hires Arthur to beat the shit out of a guy until he admits that a fake painting is real. Now, although this isn't exactly what the pragmatists were talking about, they're making a blunt, if reductive, joke about pragmatism. Sure, the paintings aren't real per se, but the idea that they are real has its use in the advancement of public education and culture, so who cares if they're fraudulent?
People are gonna look at those paintings and love them, so you're helping people, really.
As William James said in his work Pragmatism, a new name for some old ways of thinking, the true is the name for whatever proves itself to be good in the way of belief, and good too for definite, assignable reasons. This idea of partial truths also comes up later.
I'm worried that he's going to open his mouth and say things that aren't true to those vulgar Puritans at the newspaper. Well, perhaps true, but not the whole truth.
Now, I don't think anyone at Rockstar is reading John Dewey, and if you are, please send me an email. But this take on pragmatism, as it's more commonly understood by non-philosophers, is in line with Red Dead's cynical take on the value systems that propelled the West at the turn of the century. Pragmatism is darkly cast as an ideology that more or less justifies selfish, cynical behavior.
Education is the most wonderful thing. It'll raise us higher and higher. Make civics and ethics less a work of dirty-minded pragmatists like me, and the calling of higher, better men.
Hear, hear.
In part 2 of the mission, we see this distinction between the dirty pragmatism of the mayor and Jean-Marc's idealism when the mayor hires you to, once again, intimidate a newspaperman into funding the library. Arthur does what he does best, and the newspaperman gives in. And libraries are good things, right?
Look at these beautiful books. This is magnificent. We'll bring this city back to life if it kills me, and it probably shall.
So if it requires a little bit of nasty business to get something done, it's worth it, right? Such pragmatic justifications for pretty gnarly shit are all over both games, including the essential conflict of the first game. Threaten John's family in order to get him to do what they want, kill the remaining members of the gang. In the third and final part of the mission, we see a final standoff between these two idea systems when Jean-Marc turns on the mayor for his seeming lack of principles.
We will strive to improve the city's moral backbone by any means available to us.
Within reason, yes.
Yes. Within my reason. Because it's better to get something done than nothing at all, like you said.
Utterly corrupted, Lemieux.
How I long for the luxury to have principles such as you. But I must actually do things.
So there you have it, a little taste of philosophy in what is undoubtedly a top contender for Game of the Year. So what do you guys think? Is this exploration of pragmatism relevant in more areas than just this one mission? Let us know what you think, and hope you guys enjoyed this new vlog format. And as I already mentioned, I'm super impressed with the story of Red Dead 2, so if you guys are looking for more engaging stories to listen to while you're hunting legendary animals or trying to find those rare herbs, you gotta check out Blackwood. It's a narrative podcast about a group of friends investigating their small town's urban legend, the Blackwood Bugman. It's kinda like VHS or Blair Witch Project meets Stranger Things with its found footage audio style. Each episode leaves you wanting more, so if you're interested, you can head to wondery.fm/wise or find Blackwood anywhere you would get your podcast. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Peace. If you still need convincing, check out this preview for the series.
5 years ago, 3 teenagers from the small town of Blackwood, Connecticut, started an investigation into a local legend.
We are officially recording.
Within weeks, their names would be added to a long list of tragedies in town.
Everything you're about to hear was recorded by them. All of it.
You can kick against his thickly scaled body, scratch at his bulging red eyes, but you won't escape the Blackwood Bugman. Welcome to the Blackwood Podcast.